Hello everyone, Michael coming at you once again, for the first time in a long time actually. As you've probably already guessed, this is not a Jeep. This is a 2009, or about early 2009 Mac Mini. So this is actually going to be kind of a rambling style video, talking about the Jeep, what this thing has to do with the Jeep, and some other things too, probably, while I disassemble this to install an SSD. Fun times. So stick around if you'd like. If this isn't your type of video, I mean, some people don't care for the rambling videos, then we'll see you next time. But for now, very tripodless, I hate to say. The last trip I went on, it kind of broke. So we're going to try and do this without a tripod and see what happens. So, the first question you're probably going to ask is, what does a Mac Mini have to do with a Jeeping YouTube page? Well, I've been having problems encoding videos. That's the first reason you haven't seen any new videos in a while, is I've been using Sony Movie Studio for a while, and it just doesn't run well on my computer. Not to mention it's kind of difficult to learn how to use, and among other things, you pretty much have to take a lot of extra time to actually learn how to use it. So, the second reason, the main reason that I decided to jump on this little guy is so that I could have access to iMovie. And the reason that I wanted access to iMovie is simply because it's pretty easy to learn how to use. In fact, this very video is going to be edited on iMovie on this little Mac Mini. And it's pretty nice to have something, a nice alternative. And iMovie is pretty full-featured compared to, say, when movie, what's it called? Windows Movie Maker? And Movie Studio. Movie Studio has a lot of features, don't get me wrong, but they're kind of not really set up very well, if you know what I mean. It's just kind of vomited onto the screen, and it takes a long time to learn how to do things. Whereas with this, it's simple. It does the 12 things that I need it to do, and it's pretty cool. So here we're actually taking the hard drive out and replacing it with a solid-state drive. I know that kind of limits the amount of space on the machine, but I've got an external to deal with that. So that won't be a problem. The second reason you haven't seen many videos from me lately is there's been a lot of shenanigans going on around here. Not only with the Jeep, but, family things. My dad was in the hospital for a week, and that actually led to some of the Jeep shenanigans, because they flew him out to one of the Las Vegas hospitals, which is a couple hours away from here. So that actually led to me kind of doing supply runs. There's sort of a unspoken rule in my family that if someone's in the hospital, they're never, alone. So I had to run up there and sort of resupply everybody. And on the way back, I'm guessing what probably happened is the front U-joint on the front drive shaft blew up, and kind of went jousting with my transfer case, and quite literally, physically, whatever term you want to use there, it blew up my transfer case. So I had to get towed home, and that took a while to get fixed, but we're kind of back on track now. So, let's see. Yeah, I mentioned that my last trip, my tripod broke, which was actually the trip to Moab, Utah. You might have seen the new video there that my buddy Adam made. I actually tried to take video on that trip, but circumstances just didn't work out well for me. First, I broke the tripod. Just with the way that I packed it, it kind of just went crunch, which was not fun, of course. And then every time I tried to take video, it just didn't turn out well. So here I've actually got a couple of shots from Utah. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. That's pretty much all I did to the Mac, you know, pop the hard drive out, put a new hard drive in, so that's pretty easy. So here we are on, I think this was 7 Mile Rim, going up one of the obstacles there. And nothing too crazy, and then cut over to some footage from Golden Spike. I know it's kind of a surprise to see a Grand Cherokee with a 3-inch lift on Golden Spike, but we did it. Took a long time because I have a tendency to drop coils. That's another thing I gotta work on, is some sort of coil retention. Then here I've got, you know, a couple different people provided me with some footage. So here's some footage from the Golden Crack. And as you might have noticed there, my upper coil isolator on that side just fell out. This is a real ballsy move to just, oh, well, let's grab that real quick. I have to thank a couple of friends for this footage, but it's a pretty fun time. You know, a lot of people were expecting some footage from this just to see how the Trailhogs did. You kind of see one in the middle of the screen there. They did pretty damn good. I have to say, I'm really impressed with these Canatis so far. And that isolator, the spring fell sideways there, so he's putting that back in. You know, the shovel actually turned out to serve sort of a dual purpose on this trip, because, you know, no one wants to stick their hand in there and hold a coil in. Oh, there's the isolator dropping off again. You know, you don't really want to have someone sticking their hand right above the tires you're going up or down something. So we found that my shovel that I keep on the roof rack can actually be used to kind of hold that in place as you come back down and compress the coil. Which turned out to be very useful. Either way, I still need to, you know, get that solved. It's kind of very inconvenient to just drop a coil randomly on the trail. Later on in the day, I actually dropped one where we had to limp it back to camp with 3 coils because I couldn't get it in where we were. So this is one of the big downsides to wheeling a Grand Cherokee is, you know, like the Wranglers and the Cherokees all have some sort of coil retention, and you know, these really weren't designed for this level of abuse, if you want to call it that. So it's a matter of constantly watching things and figuring out where the problems are. See, before I completely compress back down on that coil, they're putting it back in. You know, making sure everything's seated correctly. And we're good. And there's just a little bit of footage there. If you want to see the full video, you can check out Adam's video and you can kind of see, you know, I have it in the wheeling playlist. You can kind of see the ragtag group of vehicles we had. A lot of really cool vehicles. It's like the groups where it's not all Jeeps or not all Toyotas or what have you, because you know, you get a lot of variety, a lot of variation in the way that the vehicles do and such. So yeah, it's kind of, you know, being so long, you kind of have to be careful going over that thing. So, I mean, that's the only major trip that actually, it's only really the only trip I've been on since. So, just to wrap it up, you know, hopefully the next couple months have some exciting things in store, and we'll get some new videos on here. With any luck, we'll be going on a couple trips here in the future, and we'll be able to, get some new content going, and it'll give me a chance to mess with iMovie a little bit more too. So for now, this is Michael signing out, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.